is about falling in love with an employee at a big box hardware store. It's not autobiographical. It's called Dear Jenny. Dear Jenny, I know this is your name because I read it on your embossed name tag. I'm writing this down because I can't shout loud enough to tell you over the noisy rattle and bang of the paint mixer and the customer assistants in aisle 12B announcements. I want to tell you that this place sounds like someone put bricks in a clothes dryer. I want to tell you that I like how you spell your name with one N, not like all the other Jennies, and how I think that makes your name look like a truncated bendy straw, and how that's beautiful. I want to tell you that your ponytail is by far the finest I've ever seen. I want to say that my Hyundai is parked in the parking lot in a far-off space, and we could run to it, your blue vest waving in the wind, and we could drive past the rest of the strip mall and the adjoining towns, and over the ring of blue mountains on the horizon, and away from this gray valley. I want to tell you that when you smile, I think I love you, even though I only know your name and that you went to high school in the next town over. My sister told me she knows someone who graduated with you, and that I'm weird. I want to buy you a coffee and ask about your childhood and find out more about each other, like if our favorite color is the same, and what kind of dogs we like, and what we both wanted to be before we were this. This one's called In Fiction. Guess at the shape of the coming morning. Develop a memory so full of color that the leaves turn their heads in shame. Then switch it off like the day that was only rain. When we took on water, filled pails with it, pitched them out like syllables to the horizon, where mountains grew forever toward the sky. And falling water filled up that gray harbor, made boats so small that giants ate them like candy, while we clung to lifeboats of shiny tinfoil, flailed our muscles, and gasped our lungs raw, until we swallowed hard, and it stopped. This is called Terminal 1. Speaking of not listening, all sophists are overpaid. The instruction tag has faded over time. Cleaning becomes a bold act with uncertain outcomes. Language is an invention. Many things are inventions. We should thank inventors, heap gratitude upon the giant shoulders of dwarf names. Thank you, the person who invented the electric light bulb, even if you could not perfect it. Thank you, the person who invented hierarchies. We should have put you first. Thank you, the person who invented empathy. We know how you feel. Every morning there will be sunlight, or at least some light. Trust me, I am an AM expert. Studies have shown that going for walks outside extends life expectancy. A copse represents only a limited number of trees. Do not be scared that you are lost. Eventually, you will find your way out on the other side. You will not be able to turn back. All language will cease to exist, and you will feel bereft. We have a word for that, a compound word. In German, it will help you to feel better. So this next one's called Neurasthenic, and it actually came out in a magazine today, which is kind of awesome. For me, I guess. It's early. First thing, I'm dissembling. The clock is on the floor, so I'll have to stand over it to tell time. But I'm not quite there yet. Rays of sun knife between vertical blinds, zebra stripe my prostrate body. Somewhere nearby, fruit blossoms are blooming or rotting, eating up most of the air, but this morning doesn't taste like anything. Clothes are scattered just beyond reach, I assume to mark the trail, the way back. The window isn't the mirrors opposite, the door is. So I'm doing that poetry thing where you look at all the papers that you brought and think about which ones to read. So this one's about horror movies. It's called Genre Conventions. This time, you're in one of those cyclical dreams where you have to confront the idea that you are your own ghost, haunting yourself, following slowly behind like the killer in slasher movies you just can't get away from, even though you're running so hard, but actually so slowly as if through water, the woods breathing quick and wet all around you, running until your lungs and legs corrode from the inside out, and you trip and cut your shins on the sharp rocks, falling until you're looking up at stars through the canopy of trees. And then your vision is obscured by the other you next to you, just waiting, not out of breath, not even winded or sweating, moonlight illuminating the slasher mask, so smooth and white, exuding calm confidence. And you remember, that was a child. Your mother always said you would have made a wonderful dancer. So this one is for anybody who's ever studied or taught rhetoric. Also, the first time I read it to Carissa, she was like, "You're a dirty poet. That's dirty." So I thought it might fit for tonight. It's called A Rhetoric of Movies, after Burke. We begin with an anecdote of killing, an appeal to imagination, perhaps an inducement to action. It's presented to you as a big-budget movie, the sort of summer blockbuster which is called tragedy. You are blown away by the imitation of reality, by larger-than-life tears forming in the corners of your eyes. Succumb willingly to the quiet moments, the speakers, the heroes, the speech itself. Do not suppress your desire for biceps and the androgyny of long, flowing hair. By your nature, you respond to symbols. This is no time to question the cogent motive straining the seam of your pants, nor to tissue the drops away. When the climax arrives, you are there, not only to reflect the RGB light of fiction, but to select from it what is yours. This is your scene. You are the agent. This is your purpose. So, once upon a time, much to the surprise of people that I know, I lived in Las Vegas. And this is a poem about, I don't know, I guess what it was like visually and sort of what the natural world, or lack thereof, was like there. It's called Illusory Likeness of Something. This is the opposite of nature, the negative of a photo you took at 12 years old, sunlight jumping off the shifting waters of a lake. There isn't sand like you'd expect, just tiny pebbles, dreams smoothed over by wind, and second chances that rub them like worry beads. You marvel at the endless everything, the no gold, only gold plating, the green grass anathema, the purchasable, pawnable, trompe-l'oeil glamour. In the unfurling miles of subdivision, optimism gives every street the name of a dream inhabited by desiccated terracotta and perfunctory sprinklers. Even when you lived here, you kept thinking, people live here? And the irony never sunk in, or maybe you internalized it as a last resort of sorts. Nothing here belongs, other than gravel, and shitty plants no one would want in their front yard. And maybe the veins of highway, they long to be everywhere. This is called Moving Day. Cloud banks loom in the distance, heavy with the weight of saved money and collected thoughts. Our breath glowing in the rainbow sherbet light of an early valley morning. Standing here, waking in tandem with the larger world, possibility comes to us, inevitable as this town. Our frames crumple into the cold vinyl of used car seats, the horizon breaking across the dashboard, and the midnight and noon of the steering wheel on an empty 4-lane road that stretches from the past all the way to nothing. I lean across you in the driver's seat, saying loudly and clearly into a drive-through two-way, "I'll have the same, but make mine a double." So for some reason I've been writing a lot of things about where both Carissa and I grew up. I don't know if you heard that noise she just made, but that's about right. But the area where we grew up is sort of dominated by malls, and this poem's about that. It's called On a Scale of 1 to 5, where 5 means strongly agree. In the twilight of the dress barn, you are making new slack from the ribbon of my arms. You are eating all the food you could eat from the old country, returning and returning for more because, damn it, you paid for it. The clock on the wall above the fountain is set, not for hours, but for days or weeks, and the artificial skylight lets us know that it's overcast and cloud white and warm, and yes, we've got that, and yes, the softer side, and yes, have it your way, and yes, finger licking good, and yes, when you care enough to send the very best. And hello, I'm conducting a short survey to determine your needs. If I can have just 5 minutes of your time, you'll sleep better tonight, knowing that we made the best even better for tomorrow. Sorry, thanks again to Jen. This is called Extended Stay. I am chemicals waiting for disintegration. And then I disintegrate. I am recycled cans and glass and tires, tired lies from way back when? I don't know. I am truths you once asked of your parents for Christmas, but they said no, no. They were all inside your head already, like collective unconscious, or rote knowledge, or the up-down of rhythmic mechanical oral sex. I'm sorry I didn't come. I'm sorry you had to be there alone, at the window of a pale room watching the kind of clouds that carry a storm to your door. Pheromones swimming with perfume, Chanel No. 5. The late night news playing on Channel 5. Updates on the hour, late-breaking stories, live on the scene. But it's not news to me, not new to me. I have seen this one before. Turn it off, brush your teeth, touch my cheek. Good night, good night, good night. Thank you.